I had no savings. I put my machine on finance. I put my course on finance. I worked a full-time job and I would tattoo in the evenings and on weekends.
Meet Sarah Whittaker, the founder of Allure Touches and one of the most respected names in the permanent makeup industry. She started out doing brows in her mum's bedroom with no savings, no fancy setup. She just had raw talent, serious graft and a vision for more. Now, she's built a thriving clinic in Chester and a brand that's known across the UK. But let me tell you, this journey didn't come easy. It came with self-doubt and some really tough personal moments.
We never thought for 1 second, they said, I'm really sorry, we found a tumour. We thought she had months, but she didn't. She was due to come home, but she died in her sleep.
In this episode, Sarah gets real about dealing with the loss of her mum, having imposter syndrome.
I don't half get imposter syndrome. I'll look at other people's clinics and I'll go, well, mine looks rubbish. And I sometimes have to draw myself back and go, hold on a minute. People are coming to see me because they like what I offer.
And how she's turned grief into purpose.
Life is too short to do things that you don't enjoy. You spend most of your life in work. Choose it wisely.
So if you're building something from scratch, feeling stuck, or just need to hear from someone who's been there, this is going to be perfect for you. What is it that you do that helps you to build a busy semi-permanent makeup business?
It's a case of if you...
Sarah.
Hi.
Welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
I love watching your social media. I love watching your stories. I think you share so much, not just about business, but you share about you.
Yes.
You share a lot about your personal stuff, and that captivated me. And I was like, I need her on the pod. So stalked you out, baby reindeered you, and got you here. So thank you for joining.
Well, it's an honour for me. It's a big honour for me.
Oh, thank you. Well, there's a lot of people that are going to be listening to this episode, and I know that you're very raw and open and to the point and honest. So let's fucking give it a go.
Okay, let's go for it.
Let's start with your journey. How did you come into the semi-permanent makeup industry, and did it start with semi-permanent makeup or was it something different?
So I was attending the BAPS conference in Westminster in London. And there was a company that trained people in cosmetic and medical tattooing. So when I saw it, I was like, wow, I'd love to do medical tattooing. But back then you had to do cosmetic tattooing in order to then go on to do medical tattooing. So I went home, had a chat with my mum. I said, Mum, I really, really want to do this. So I contacted the company and it was pretty expensive back then. We're talking over 10 years ago, it was nearly £10,000 to do your training, your course. But I really want to do it. I had no savings. I didn't have a particularly rich family or anything. So I put it all in finance. My mum helped me. And the rest is history. I literally knew I had to do it. So I put my machine on finance. That was $4,800. I put my course on finance. And yeah, I nearly spent £10,000 and I gave it my all. And I worked full time alongside of it.
So you was in a completely different job, wasn't it? So was it literally just going to that thing, watching somebody and going, and did you just like love at first sight? Like, that's it.
Yeah,
that's
was.
For me.
But I've always had an interest in like the cosmetic surgery and stuff. I'm partial to a bit of work myself, very honest about it. And so that's why they sent me. So I looked after that particular sector in my old job. But prior to that, I wanted to be a nurse, but I'd spent more time with my mum on dialysis at the time than actually going to uni. So I did all my A-levels in health and social care. So I knew I wanted to be in an industry where I could help others. So yeah, but I ended up being good at sales because I've got the gift of the gab. Yeah. And then, so I went into that for many, many years. I did sales. And when I saw that, I thought, that was just a spark ignited for me.
I love that. Because I went from working in sales to starting my own beauty business as well. And I think it gives us the edge.
Yeah.
Because when you learn in sales, you're learning KPIs, you're learning the power of numbers and all like conversions, all these different things. Do you find that your experience in sales helped you to get your business off the ground?
100%, because it's a completely different sector because mine was, I suppose, I was selling a service, whilst what I'm doing is providing a service. But because of I've got the gift of the gab and I can speak to people and I'm very open and honest, I suppose that does give me the edge because I'm quite driven. I work extremely well under pressure. If I have a day off, I'm like, oh. But while I'm literally at work and I'm back to back, I work my best. I do my best work when I'm stressed.
So when you took all this finance on and took this loan out, you didn't necessarily feel pressure.
No.
You was just like, let's fucking go for it.
I knew that if I did, I had to do a client. So I used to do it from my mum's house in my old bedroom. I used to leave work at 6 o'clock, go to my mum's, and I would tattoo in the evenings and on weekends. And I knew that if I did one client, my loan would paid for. And if I did another client, my machine finance was paid for. So I never made any money off it for that first year. But in that first year, it took off so well because there wasn't many people doing it in the area that after a year, I left my job.
Wow.
And I was on good money as well. It was really scary to do it.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just did it from my little apartment in Chester to start off with. Yeah.
So there's people out there now that might want to start doing this, but they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do it from home. You know, will people think it's not professional? Did you ever feel like people would find you unprofessional or like... Because you said you did it from home in your bedroom. Like, it obviously didn't fucking stop you, did it?
No.
So do you think that people can do that still now?
Things have changed a little bit now because there's a lot of perception online that you have to look and be a certain way, but it doesn't matter as long as you're doing the best work and what you offer is different to what everybody else offers. Your work speaks for itself. You are magic. I believe that we're all magic. We've all got our own little spark. We've got our own little thing that we offer, and someone will see what I offer and like it, regardless of where my setup is. If I'm doing everything above board, if it's clean and hygienic, if I've got the council round to check, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's a perception, isn't it, online at the moment?
I think there's a difference between doing somebody at home and having the dog on the couch next to them than there is actually having an ethical, clean setup. But I don't think people should hold themselves back because in some cases, like I've worked with so many people now, but it's their only option to get started.
100%.
They've got kids or they've not got any help for looking after their children, so they have to have a spare bedroom or a conservatory or something. And they think, some people actually go, I'm not going to do this business because of that. And sometimes you've got to do what you got to do, haven't you? You know?
Sometimes you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to give it a go.
Absolutely.
I did it from my mum's when I was working, and then when I eventually did it in my clinic, I remember the counsellor coming around and checking it all. I had to buy a little portable sink for it. It was a small room. I look back at it now and go, oh, bless me.
Yeah.
But I was there for years, and it served a fantastic purpose for me. And then now I've gone on to having my own little place.
Yeah, I love that.
In Chester.
How do you think that you built your client base up? Like, what do you think made you stand out to get clients in those early days?
I was persistent.
Yeah.
I was persistent. I mean, I utilised Facebook a lot more than what you can do now. I find that it's difficult online. It is more difficult now online than it was back then. I mean, it wasn't saturated, so there wasn't many people doing what I was doing. But then when I do semi-permanent makeup, so I'm all machine method. But then when blading came back and was very, very popular, I found a dip in mine. But I stuck to my ground and thought, no, this is what I've mastered. This is what I'm good at, and stuck with it. Things have changed, but if you truly love what you do, you will be successful at it.
Yeah.
Truly. What you put out in the universe comes back. And if you truly love something, then you'll always do well. Always.
What about those, though, that don't yet know that they truly love it? Because maybe they've just qualified or they've been dibbing in and out of it for a few months and they're like, I just don't know if it's for me. Like, how does somebody truly find that passion for it?
I think you just know in yourself. When you start doing something, like when I first started doing it, it was hard. There was times when I wanted to give up. There was times I would thought, oh gosh, I can't handle this. I'm quite a sensitive person. I'm a people pleaser. I really had to toughen up, and I'm still soft.
Yeah.
But I've had to toughen up with my approach because my knowledge has grown. So I think when you start something, when it's difficult, that's when most people give up.
Yeah.
That first year, you really have to give it your all, and you'll know then if it's what you want to do, because you will continue. I worked a full-time job. I was doing 42, 45 hours as well as doing this outside of it because I wanted to make it work. I just put all this money on finance. I had to give it my all. I had to.
What was your reason why?
At the time, I was suffering a bit with my health.
Okay.
So I'd just been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which I haven't got anymore because it turns out I had an allergy to my breast implants, but that's another story. Yeah, so I've had them and that's gone. But I was literally constantly ill, and I thought, I need to be able to work around myself. If I phoned in sick, it was always, then you're on the Bradford factor. And I thought, I'm working my arse off trying to do everything here. I need to go at my own pace. Turns out I work way more hours than I've ever done before, but it's something that I love. And even when I wasn't well, I still carried on working. It's just the way you work.
Because you just got obsessed with it. Well, you was a hard worker from the get-go. You worked in sales. And that's not an easy industry to be in because it's very target-driven. There's pressure and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of just applied all of that to your career.
Yeah.
Did you want like freedom, money? Was there other things? Yeah.
I wanted to be able to travel more. I wanted to be able to go at my own pace.
Sorry,
did I knock it? Sorry. Okay.
Sorry. That's all right. You can just start that again.
So where
I fucking forgot. Oh yeah, was there other things like time and money? This is why I fucking hate it when we stop. Did you want freedom? And you said, I wanted to travel. So if you just start from,
I definitely wanted freedom. I wanted the ability to be able to go on more holidays, to be able to take time off to make memories, because life is too short, as we both know. And I wanted to spend more time with loved ones, not be working all the time and having to dictate to somebody else's hours. Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for my career and my job. I enjoyed it, but I love what I do. I love nothing more than making someone feel good about themselves. This gives me the ultimate job satisfaction. I have gone home some days and cried. I've come out of the clinic and been upset, or I'll be so excited. I literally will do someone's eyebrows and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so excited to show you. I'm so excited. And you can't put a price on that.
No.
That adrenaline, that excitement you get. And I know that excitement that you get feeds into the universe as well and comes back on you. That's how you manifest. When you're in your most excitable moments, that's how you can manifest your dreams.
I love that. So you literally had a passion. You've still got the passion.
Yeah.
I can literally feel your passion.
Yeah. But I've also got body dysmorphia, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm really good at facial symmetry.
Really?
So there's an element of giving somebody confidence, because I know what it feels like to not feel like that.
So there's a deeper reason 100%, as well, isn't there?
Yeah. It makes me very particular about the way things look.
Like it has to be perfect.
Yeah, the girls call me the Matrix because I can look at people's eyebrows and go, that one needs 4.5.
Don't fucking look at that.
Yours are lovely, you're all right.
Okay, well, I'm going to come and get you to sort them out. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced whilst building Allure? Allure.
Allure, yeah.
Allure,
I don't mind. It sounds very French.
Accent,
I like the allure.
Allure.
Loads of people say it like that. It's fine. I'm not bothered. I think I speak for a lot of people. COVID was a big, big, big thing because obviously locking us down, it was so uncertain. And then I got taken into hospital and was being treated for suspected meningitis and COVID. And then I got pregnant 3 weeks later.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, I then came back to work pregnant, not knowing how this is going to work. Yeah. I have some family members that support me, but they all work. So I had to put my son into nursery at 3 months old, which was the hardest thing. I came back to work after 6 weeks, worked part-time and had to live off benefits so that I could come in, work to cover my overheads every single month, pay my staff, pay my rent and my clinic. And I did that for months. And I never got anything for that for myself. But I love my job. I didn't see it as not earning any money. I saw it as, it's my business, I'm keeping it going. And it was crazy. When I came back, I had a waiting list of 280 people. I went the other way. And then because I was pregnant, I was like, how am I going to get everybody in? It was stressful. And then obviously, I know we're going to probably talk about this as well, but losing my mum had a big detriment on myself. I just left my business, the job, started working from home. My mum got diagnosed with cancer.
Fuck's sake.
And then
out of nowhere.
She got diagnosed with lung cancer. And then she had treatment for it, but my mum had a kidney transplant. So my mum was on dialysis for years. So I know a lot about kidneys now. And unfortunately, the cancer then came back and she passed away after 7 weeks.
7 weeks?
Yeah, 7 weeks.
Oh, my baby.
But if I wasn't working from home, I would never have been able to spend time. I used to tattoo in my apartment and then go to the hospice at like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And sit with her.
We'll get into that and we'll get into grief as well. Before that, what other challenges have you had in business? Because it's very clear there's a big demand for you and you're good at what you do. That's, we can explain that. But some people might be listening to this that have experienced other challenges. What other things have you kind of had along the way in your journey that's made you like, fuck?
Obviously, I know we've spoke about COVID. There's been There's been instances where things get discussed online, don't they, about different types of treatments like blading and semi-permanent makeup and then the pigments and things. But I don't get involved in any of that. I kind of like stick to my lane. So my advice to anybody would be just focus on you. You follow your instinct. You follow what you want to do. Whatever choice you choose to decide to do blading or machine or do a mixture of both or whatever pigments, I would try and phase out the background noise because it can be quite overwhelming online. And I know this from speaking to one of my colleagues who she works with me and she also works from herself as well at home in her own cabin. And she said sometimes seeing when people say, oh, we shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, it can be quite overwhelming to someone and go, do you know what? I'm not going to do it. Because they have that fear. Yeah, it is. So I would say try and not look what you see online because it's not always real, and try and focus on what you do because that really got in my head. You know, the girls will know this who work with me is I don't half get in my head sometimes. I don't half get imposter syndrome. I think, oh my God, I can't believe how busy I am. What if it goes? What if that goes? So I'm always trying to better myself and learn new things. But yeah, I definitely think online can be really, really positive, but I think it can also be quite negative. I think that it can make you get in your head. So I would say just try and stick to yourself because that's been a hindrance for me. I've really got in my head. And I'll look at other people's lovely, beautiful clinics and I'll go, well, mine looks rubbish. Mine looks a bit shit.
I'm going to redo this. And
I do that. And I sometimes have to draw myself back and go, hold on a minute. People are coming to see me because they like what I offer. And try not get in my head. And I still do this now. I'm a bugger for it.
Everybody experiences imposter syndrome, don't they? And I think it's amazing when people like you are so successful and some people would look at your Instagram and look at your clinic and just be like, oh my God, I just aspire to be like her. It's so refreshing for you to come in and go, listen, I fucking struggle. Yeah. You know, I have imposter syndrome. I get these voices in my head.
All the time.
Do you know what I mean? And it just shows that everybody does experience that to an extent. There's something that I want to say because this is I've been told to say, oh my God, like a fucking voice in my head. I've been told to say it. Sound like a psychopath. Okay, you were just saying about social media and how when you look at social media and you can see like people writing stuff and should we be doing this? Should we be doing that? I wanted to just say this for the listeners, like your social media is a business tool. Yeah. It's not something that you sit and binge on. If you're sitting and binging on social media, you're probably sending yourself into a spiral of negativity.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think this, in the semi-permanent industry, is probably similar to the medic, non-medic. It's like, oh, should this person be doing this? And should you be doing that treatment with this, whatever it is? The more you play into that narrative and the more that you read those things, the worse you're going to feel. 100%. For me, like I don't have Facebook app on my phone. Instagram is business only. Yeah. Because I've been like where you've been as well, where you've got this person's setting up this business or this salon's open around the corner or this person's doing what I'm doing or I'll do something and they'll copy me. And I'm like, the more we watch people doing that, the worse we feel. And now I look at Instagram and TikTok as a business tool. Yeah. End of.
But use it to support each other.
Yeah. If you're going to use it, help each other, support each other. But if you find yourself in those spirals of like reading shit and feeling shit, just get off of it. Yeah. Get off of it.
100%.
Use it for your business, do a bit of engaging, pick some people up, unfollow the twats that you don't like. And, do you know what I mean? Just be done with it, but don't allow yourself, because it's not healthy,
No, it's not. It's not. Really and I am a sucker for that. I do go on there and go, oh, maybe I need to do this and maybe I need to do that. And it's funny you say, you look at your following and, that I'm really successful. I never see myself as that. I just see myself as Sarah, who works in the flat, who tattoos, semi-permanent makeup. I never see myself as the
actual identity that you are now.
Because I never get complacent. The only person I'm in competition with is myself. What I offer is different to what someone else offers. Let's support each other. Maybe that's why I'm best friends with Soph, because she's the biggest advocate. Like she literally will mention my name in a room full of opportunities, and she inspires me. Yeah.
As soon as I went in there,
she's amazing.
She's just amazing. She's such an inspiring person.
100%. And I'll say to her, I'm feeling really down. She'll go, Sarah, give your head a wobble. Look how well you're doing. Get yourself on there and push yourself. Show yourself more. Like I'm lucky that I've got someone like that in my life who is smashing it herself, but will also see me for who I am and help me. Yeah. But I think I'm very much around the supportive approach. If you're another tech and you're struggling with something, message me. I'll message other techs and go, oh, what pigment are you using? Yeah. Love that. I tag other techs in my posts. They tag me in theirs, so we can support each other. I even tag a lady in America and she tags me.
Yeah.
We can all support each other, Because there's plenty of room to go around for all of us. I definitely feel like and this is what I've been, especially this year, I am only in competition with myself. What I offer is different to what everybody else offers, and vice versa. Let's just support each other.
I love that. Has there ever been times where you've struggled to stay in your own lane and you have let yourself kind of get a bit, I don't want to say jealous, but envious of others and start to like question
I think that's
yourself?
a normal emotion, especially when you're hormonal.
Yes.
I look at other people and go, especially at the minute, my reach is like up and down like a yo-yo. I'm like, why am I not reaching? And I get in my head and I'm like, so-and-so's got loads of reach, but you know what? That's amazing for them. And I'll go, I'm so proud of you for that. Mine will come. It doesn't matter about my reach.
I don't give a fuck
I'm
about
booked up for
reach,
8 weeks, 9 weeks at a time. That's all that matters to me.
Exactly.
And that's what I need to focus on.
I look at my stats once a month and I don't give a fuck if my reach is... I honestly don't care, because if I'm creating content that feels aligned with me, then that content's going out there. If that means I'm going to reach 300,000 people, let's let it be. Because on some months, and this is the thing, like genuinely for me, because I used to get caught up on it, I can have a £500,000 drop in reach in a month, £500,000 drop in reach in a month, but I've had a 6-figure month.
Yeah.
I'm not tying my reach to fuck all.
No, I know.
No, so
use it as a tool, but not your life, isn't it?
It's okay to use it as a point of analysis, like, but it's when people are going on a 7-day basis, like, my reach last week was this and now it's this, and I'm like, what? Instagram is a fucking wild thing that we are never going to understand. Like, if you've not posted once, like if you've posted one time less than last week, that'll have an effect on your reach. You might have posted something this week that you love, but your audience didn't like it, but so fucking what, you did.
Exactly.
Are you making money? Are you attracting new clients? You know what I mean?
Is your diary
like you
full?
just said, is your diary busy? Yeah, so do fucking you know?
If you're not very good at social media, get someone else in to help you. I do. I get people to help me with mine, because I know the ideas that I want to go with, but I struggle to execute them, because that's not my forte. My forte, I want to be in my clinic creating. I don't always want to be doing content, so I do get outside help as well with that. And I think if you're struggling, why not?
And you can do it, then why not? I also want to add in there's a bit of a line with that. So if you're posting a picture of your dog saying my dog's just ate all of his dinner, then, fucking stop that. No one cares.
But, I keep it strictly business, but I'll put the odd ones in me.
Of course, a bit, it's got to be relatable too. But I'm just saying, like, if someone's like, oh, my reach isn't growing, and you're posting your dog and your grandchildren and whatever, and you've got a lash page, then it's not hitting right. I'm not saying don't ever post those things, but anyway, we digress. Let's get to the really depressing stuff, shall we?
Okay.
Let's do it. And I can say this because I've lost my brother to cancer, and I know you sadly lost your mum to cancer. I can't even begin to imagine what it must feel like to lose your mum. I'm so lucky. I've still got both my parents, and I genuinely dread the day that I can't say that anymore. So the fact that you've had to go through this young as well, because we shouldn't lose our parents till we're...
No, I lost my dad as well prior to that.
Fuck
but
me.
I was very much, I mean, I love both my parents, but I lived with my mum predominantly.
You was really
close. And my mum was
with
very
them.
like me. We're like twin flames. I think me and my mum have known each other in past lives. 100%. And I know that because I've been told that as well.
How far into your journey was you in building your business when you got the news about your mum? How did that unfold?
A year.
Wow.
I just left my job.
Just
left my job. I had set up my little clinic. I was super proud of it. I'd gone to Disneyland, Florida for the first time back in 2015. So it was the first time, because we couldn't afford to go to places like that when we were younger. And we come back, and my mum was always in and out of hospital because she'd had a kidney transplant. She always got pneumonia, so she was always in and out of hospital. And they pulled us to a room, and they said, and we thought it was going to be the kidney. We never thought for 1 second. They said, I'm really sorry, we found a tumour. And I remember just sat there and she just cried, and it was horrendous.
You should never have to think or see that happen.
No. But the complex side of it was because my mum's on immunosuppressant medication because she had a transplant, she couldn't have the treatment. She could only have radio, and she had it cut out. But when she had it cut out, she didn't bounce back very well from it. But then they said it was all clear. And then she fell just before Christmas. I took her into town shopping in a wheelchair, and we were getting all of her Christmas presents and stuff. And she just wasn't feeling. I don't think she was 100%. And then I think it was the following day or 2 days after, she'd fallen going to the toilet, and she'd broke her hip. And then that's when we found out that the cancer was back, and it was in her rib cage, and there was nothing they could do. And the guy, I was on my own. My stepdad had just gone to get a coffee because he'd been with her. I'd gone over there. I was in my scrubs, and I used to wear like the theatre nurse colour. So everyone thought I worked there. So the guy was talking to me and he said, look, I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. I stood on my own. It's back and there's nothing we can do. And we thought she had months, but she didn't. So she stayed in the hospital for a while and then we managed to get her into the hospice. And she was due to come home, but she died in her sleep. I wasn't even with her. It hurts.
Does it?
Yeah, because I wish I was with her.
Do you think she would have maybe wanted you to not be there? Do you think
Maybe.
I have a bit of a weird story around that because when my brother was dying of cancer, he didn't think he was dying. Like we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't believe
it. We thought he was going to come back from it, and he'd done all the juice cleansing and all the CBD and all that kind of stuff. And we thought, it's slow, but maybe it's going anyway. I took the kids to Gran Canaria with my husband, and I remember Mum ringing me because he was having panic attacks. He kept having these random panic attacks.
His body knew.
Yeah, so my mum took him to the hospital and it turns out they weren't panic attacks, he was having heart attacks. But he thought they were panic attacks because he just all of a sudden couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
They were having fucking heart attacks. God. So Mum rang me and she was like, he's going. I'm like, what do you mean he's going? And, fucking
completely
hell.
Out
Depressing
the blue.
podcast episode of the fucking...
No, but it's real life.
It's real life, right?
Yeah, it's real life and I think it's important to discuss.
So when my mum said, like, he's going to be in the next few days and whatever, and I booked a flight to go home and to take the kids home as well, but there was something in me that was like, you're not meant to go home.
Yeah.
You're not meant to be there.
Maybe
but the flight was
you weren't meant to
booked,
see
right? Exactly. So then I was looking at my phone thinking if I'm going to leave for this flight, like I'd packed all the cases, the kids didn't know, they was in bed, but I was going to wake them up and just say like, look, something's happened. I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
You don't know, do you? And it was like getting to the time and I was like, if I'm going to leave, I need to leave now. I'd hired a car, so I knew I could just take the car back to the airport or whatever. And I couldn't go. And I just couldn't go. Something told me not to go. And it got to a point where I couldn't change my mind now. So I couldn't go.
Yeah.
This was like 3-4 o'clock in the morning at this point. So I fell asleep. And when I was asleep, I had a dream. I was in a hospital room with my brother. I was sat on the end of his bed and he was saying to me, you were never meant to be here. I didn't want you here. And he had a green pendant around his neck. Anyway, as time has gone on over the years, because it's been 7 years now since he's died, I could not be more comfortable with the decision that I made not to be there. Now, whilst your decision might have meant to be there, I don't think it was your mum's,
it was meant
babe.
to be, yeah.
I don't think it was your mum's
because
she
was
choose.
Asleep. Yeah, she was asleep. They said the hospice said she was restless, and then they gave her something to relax her, and then checked on her again, and then checked her, and she was just gone. Yeah, she was very peaceful, and she looked beautiful. So I know that was probably what was best for her.
Yeah,
but obviously
for you, it
hurt me. Yeah.
So how did you carry on with business?
I think, and this is why I say to people, do a job that you love. Because if I didn't have that business, it kept me going. Yeah. I worked in between my mum's death and the funeral because I couldn't just sit there because I was a mess. Yeah. I needed a distraction, a welcome distraction. And I had clients who've been with me for years, like the amount of flowers, I didn't realise I'd spoke about my mum as much as I had. It was like a florist's in this tiny little room of mine. And like I sometimes used to have my mum at mine and then I would tattoo my clients and go, I've just got to go check her mum, see if she's not been at the biscuits because she was diabetic. So I would try and do that when she wasn't wasn't well. And I think it's the hardest thing. And even talking about it, my solar plexus, my chakras are all off here talking about it. But I think I was in denial for 3 years. I think for 3 years, I couldn't quite accept it. Yeah. So on the outside, everyone was like, you're doing really, really well. On the inside, I wasn't. I was suicidal. My friend literally phoned me up and she went, are you all right? I went, no, not really, I don't want to be here. And I said, it's so cold and so matter-of-factly.
And you meant it.
And I meant it. And she went, she's a psychiatric nurse, and she went, do you know what? I'm going to phone the doctors. Which one are you at? I'm going to take you. Started getting really bad anxiety, started with really bad depression, went to, they referred me to the mental health team because I got in quite quickly because I was quite high up there. I needed support quite quickly. And I had CBT because I started having worries about absolutely everything. Yeah. So it was like hypothetical worries. It was just mental and they were consuming me. Like my safe place was on the sofa with my 2 cats, which I'm going to mention because they're my firstborn babies. Mm-hmm. But they literally helped me get through that as well.
You know, with your worries, because I think it's important for people that can relate to this, was it, because I experienced the same, right? So my worries was, who's going to die next?
Yeah.
What problem is someone going to have? My husband could have gone out in the car and I'd be like, he's going to have a car
who's
crash.
going to leave me?
It's who's going to die.
It was
Did
a
you
fear of
experience that as well? Yeah.
Massive fear of abandonment.
Yeah, do you still have it a bit? I still have it a bit.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. Like sometimes I'll forget, like literally last week, I said something to her, and my mum was dead scout, and I went, I think I said, "Oh, hiya, love," and I sounded exactly like her. And then it dawned on me that she's dead. Because I think you cope, your body's way of coping is sometimes forgetting.
Distraction.
Yeah. And I was like, and then I just started crying.
Yeah.
Because it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it does.
It was horrendous. For 3 years, I literally was on, I didn't know what I was doing. But what I did do was decide to get out the flat and open a clinic. And I opened that clinic, and I did it in honor of my mum. I have a funeral card in there. And I've still got it in there now, 8 years on. I've got a feather that has floated in, that's in there. I've got my little crystals hanging down. I've got a little angel one in there. And literally, it might be morbid, but I've got the picture, I've got my actual funeral card in my clinic. So she watches me. So she's always with me. Like, I struggle to go to mum's grave. I don't like going. I find it's a reminder of my worst day in my life. I don't like going. So I have my own little shrines. Yeah. I go to church. I will pray for her. I'll talk to her out loud all the time. All the time.
Yeah, and that's what she'd want from you.
Yeah,
she wouldn't want you to go anywhere where you was going to be sad.
But I think if you're in a job that you enjoy, and I say this, people, life is too short to do things that you don't enjoy. And if anyone's out there listening and they're doing something they don't enjoy, leave.
Yeah.
Do something, because when shit really hits the fan in life, you spend most of your life in work, and you spend most of your life around the people that you work with. Choose it wisely.
Would you almost say like a loss saved you?
Yeah. Yeah, but it kept me going.
Yeah, it kept me sane.
Yeah, it did. It did keep me going.
Just.
Yeah, just.
Barely sane.
Just. But it was weird, because it was like 2 years later that it's after I got married. I got married and I really hit rock bottom. And it was odd where it came out of nowhere.
Grief is a fucking weird one, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I pretended to myself that my brother was still alive, like, because he lived about 45 minutes away from us, so I didn't see him all the time anyway.
Yeah.
It would only be on like a Christmas day or a birthday, like we'd actually spend time. So I was just like, oh, he's alive, he's alive. Literally convinced myself. And then at the weekend it hit in, so I'd start drinking and, fucking myself up big time. And then I think, like you, a couple of 2 years later, and you go,
he's actually gone.
He's not coming back.
It's acceptance. I think that's the key to anything, is you've got to accept it. Your journey is unique. Like, I think there's a lot of stigmatism, like a stigma around, not stigmatism, a stigma around like grief online, that for the first year or two, everyone's so supportive. Years later, it still hurts. It still fucking hurts. Yeah. I'm 8 years on. And I think about her all the time. Yeah. It kills me some days. Now I'm a mum. God, I wish more than anything to have my mum with me for that support. And even from a selfish perspective, God, I wish I had a babysitter on bloody set. My mum would have idolised him.
Would have loved nothing more.
Yeah.
It's unfair.
It is unfair. She was 69. She was too young. And she was, this is the crazy thing is, I found out I was pregnant on the anniversary of her death, and he was born on my dad's birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
If that's not your parents with you, then.
Yeah. And then my nana and mum were both Sunday school teachers. And I love I love like string quartet music. I love like classical music. I think it's the trance set in me, because I love a bit of trance as well. And I went to this concert with my friend pregnant, and this song came on. And I was like, wow. I started crying. Didn't know what it was playing some of me, like, it was like songs from movies. Was playing it like a normal playlist, and it came on, and I was like, oh my word, that's a song. I went to it. It's called Gabriel's Aube. It's from the film called The Mission, which is with Robert De Niro, apparently. I've not seen it, about him going on a missionary. So it was a religious film. And my son's called Gabriel. He was always going to be called Gabriel. So many things aligned.
Just so many. Yeah. Well, let's talk about your spiritual side, because you talk about that a lot online, and I love that about you. You're very open about it.
Ashamed of.
No, I know.
I'm a bit woo.
Yeah, no, same. But there's been definitely parts in my journey where I have said universe instead of God, where I would want to say God, and there's, like, most people don't know I go to church on Sundays and stuff. Yeah, but it's not something that I openly speak about. So when I've seen you do it, I'm like, oh God, she's like, because there's no one in my family or no one that I know that is like believes in God or
believes in both.
Goes to church. Yeah, exactly.
Not many people are spiritual and religious at the same time. Yes. And I believe that both can coincide.
100%.
100%, I believe they do.
How did your relationship spiritually start, and how has it progressed, especially after the grief? Okay,
so I've been brought up with it because my mum and my nana were both Sunday school teachers.
And were they Christian? Or?
Yeah, so Church of England. But I was christened Catholic because my dad was Catholic. Okay. But because they got divorced, I wasn't recognised back then in the Catholic Church. So my nan kind of just brought me up as Church of England. So I used to go to Sunday school and stuff. But when you're younger, you don't want to go, do you? It was never like pushed on me. It was just kind of a way of being. My nana had a plate on her wall that said, do unto others as others should do unto you. So that stuck with me. I won't do something to somebody if I don't want it back to me. And that transpires in work because I want to give my clients my authentic self, and it is a bit crazy sometimes. I always get told you are completely different to the way I thought you were going to be, but I also want them to feel like safe and non-judged. You know, I get an array of people. So I think that my faith in God has, one, helped me deal with my mum's grief because I know I'm going to be with her again.
Yeah.
I know, for me, God is a way of life. I know that I'm going to heaven because I will try and continue to be a good person, and I will be with my mum again. But then on a spiritual aspect, I've always been into like crystals and I've always been spiritual. But when mum passed away, I did have a full-blown spiritual awakening. Wow. And I think a lot of people have that. I hit rock bottom. I hit complete rock bottom with nowhere to go. And I had a lady come in. She did an aura cleanse in my new clinic. She told me that my mum was there. She also told me there was a Roman, because my building's like 1,000 years old, that was floating around the building. I was like, I don't feel anything bad. So, and then I had a chakra cleanse, and that awakened my third eye. So I started seeing things for what they really were, and people that maybe weren't necessarily good for me, and I let them go. I think you can be a good person and say, you know what, maybe that isn't meant to be. So yeah, and I love my crystals. I've got my rose quartz and I've got lapis lazuli on my finger. But I do love my crystals all around my clinic because they make me feel safe. Yeah. They offer grounding. They offer emotional support for me. And I think after I lost my mum, I had black obsidian in my. I used to keep it in my bra to protect my heart. And I used to hold it. And wherever I go, wherever handbag, there's a piece of some sort of crystal. And they're everywhere.
Because energetically you feel like you're being protected by the energy of the crystal.
Yeah.
So you said that you go to church. How do you think your relationship with God has helped you in your business?
I don't go to church religiously.
No,
I tend to
you go
to
every
church.
so often or whatever.
I go to church at dinner and I find it grounding.
Yes.
I find going to church, I'll light a candle, I'll say a prayer for my mum. Yeah. I find it, sometimes I'll go there, if I'm having a bad day in work, the girls will say to me, why don't you go to church there?
That's nice though.
So I go to church, I'll have my dinner in there. Yeah. And I'll just walk around. I don't know what it is, I just find it really, really...
It's connection, isn't it?
Yeah, I find it really, really grounding, and I'll pray. But I'll pray with thanks. I pray not for what I want, but for what I have. I think that's important, to give thanks for what you have, because even though life can throw you lemons and be really difficult, it does make you a stronger person, and it makes you see things it makes you see where you want to go in life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's grounded me.
Yeah.
But I've had therapy and stuff. If anybody's out there that's struggling with grief right now, there's no harm in asking for help and going for therapy. Even now, I check in with a therapist because I want to be the best version of me, but I also want to be the best version for my son. So when I had Gabe, when I became a mum, it triggered loads for me because I missed my mum. So off I went and had some therapy, and I will regularly go back and check in. I've had shamanic healing, which is great as well.
I was just about to say, with your therapy, did you go through a private option for this, or did you go through the doctor? So you found somebody privately?
Yeah, first when all this first started, I went to the doctors and I got seen quite quickly. But then when I now check in, I go to someone local, but she's a spiritual therapist as well. So although she's a qualified therapist, she's also spiritual. So she has crystals and she puts them underneath your seat, and she does shamanic healing. But what I like about her is she encourages you. She'll ask you questions as to why you're triggering that, and the things that she gets out of me. I'm like, I didn't even know that was even there in me. So sometimes you harbour things that you don't even realise are there.
Yeah, and then underneath the surface, they're bubbling away and they're causing problems. Another thing that you spoke about was manifesting.
Yeah.
So would you consider manifesting as like a spiritual practice in your eyes?
I'd say it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think I think some people can see it as a daydream. If you're not a spiritual person, there's nothing wrong with thinking about what you want and writing down what you want and having dreams. We look back to when we were children. When we were children, we aspired. We never said it would never happen. We knew it would happen because we said, when I'm older, I'm going to be this. What's changed? We've grown up and now we think, we can't do it. Yes, we can. If you really dream it, you can. But I'm quite new to manifesting in terms of I've got a cork board in my room that I'm going to be doing, and I went to Sarah the Genius Alchemist. I went to one of her retreats, which was incredible, and she talks about your lineage and how things that might have happened in your past life that could then trigger in now, and how you ask for things. if you give gratitude out there and if you are thankful for what you've got, the universe will, that's a high frequency. Yeah. A grateful heart is in a high frequency, and the energy will come back for that. So I give thanks to God and I give thanks to the universe for everything I've got. And you know what? This year, I started health coaching. I was ready for burnout at the end of last year. I was pushing myself and I thought, something's got to give here. So I started a journey on health coaching, and every day I wake up, I have a drink of water, I stretch, and then I practice gratitude. And I even do it with my son. And he'll say that Mummy and Daddy loves me, God loves me, I am kind. And then we'll say what we're grateful for. And since I've been doing that, I've gone on here, which I've always wanted to do. I've got on here.
Wow.
I've just got part of the protein from one of the needles I use. So these doors are opening for me because I'm just living in a grateful heart. Yeah.
You're aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with the health coaching side of things, it's helping you stay connected and grounded into what it is you want, and that clears resistance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not surprised. Keep doing that.
Yeah, well, I had like this little chart, and everything to do with work was high up, and everything to do with my personal life was low. So it's how I'm getting that balance.
You need to swap it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I can't tell you, like, the more I look after me, the more I like do things that I enjoy doing, or spend time with people I enjoy spending time with, or like just fucking look after me, the more success flows to me easy in business. And that's not me saying, oh, I'm just going to do 40 hours a week with friends and 2 hours a week on work, because I like to try and obviously put attention into both. Yeah. But all I can say is the more fun I have, the more joy I feel, the more opportunities come to me effortlessly. Like effortless. It's fucking crazy.
Definitely.
So some people think that it's difficult to give themselves that well-being or that self-care because
you feel guilty.
Because you feel guilty. But then I say, right, okay, well, how about you switch it then and you say that this is part of the strategy?
Yeah.
Because self-care and well-being is part of your strategy. It's part of your business strategy.
Because if you're burnt out, how can you give the best possible work? You need to come in with your A game when you're in work. I come in through the doors. If I've had a coffee, wow, I am bouncing off the walls.
I can only have one a day.
Like, oh, snap. I'm literally like, and people look at me going, have you had a coffee? I'm like, yeah, I can't have Pepsi Max either. Yeah. I'm just bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
But I'm full of beans because I love my job. It's nice to be able to go into work and enjoy. But don't get me wrong, I'm human. There's days when I can't be arsed. It's hard sometimes, especially when we're little. And my little one's been up all night last night. He was in bed with me because his ear was hurting. So I was knackered this morning.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But this is the thing, like, business is business and life is life. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But you're resilient and you're not going to quit, and you know that. Yeah. And you're not going to quit because you love it so much.
And I think if you've got a passion for it, if you do something you love, you will always be good at it. You will always give something your best because you enjoy it.
I want to touch into this quickly before we start to wrap things up, because I've coached and worked with semi-permanent makeup artists from a business or a life coaching perspective, right? And there's a difference in attitude from them. Now, most of them say it's hard, clients don't come very often because it's not a regular treatment like lashes or nails, so it's difficult. And you just sat there and said, when I come off maternity, I had a wait list of 200 odd people. What is it that you do that helps you to build a busy semi-permanent makeup business?
Do you or your team want to train in a new and popular beauty treatment for as little as £99? Whether it's lashes, brows or facials, adding a new service can mean more clients and more money. With Beginner Beauty Courses UK, you can train for as little as £99, all from the comfort of your own home. Get instant access to their online accredited courses and train in treatments like lash lift and tint, classic lash extensions, beginner facials, massage, Russian lash extensions, and more. You'll get full support from your tutor, private WhatsApp chats, and lifetime access to easy to follow tutorials that you can rewatch over and over again. Click on the link in the show notes and train in a brand new in-demand beauty treatment today.
I look after my clients. So I've got loads and loads and loads of regulars. My clients are from recommendations because I've done someone, the best eyebrows I could personally give them. They've then loved them. They've then recommended me to all their friends. And then those friends have come to me. Like I've got a particular family. I do the nan, the mum, the daughters, because one gets it done. And that's what I mean is if you give your all and you do the best possible job, your clients will come to you. I mean, I didn't have that waiting list now because of lockdown. Everyone was looking at their eyebrows and then they obviously come across me and it was lovely. And it was stressful, but it was wonderful that I had that much interest. But I think now when things have calmed down, It's a case of if you look after your regulars, they will always come back to you and they will recommend you to others. Because I hear stories of people that have been someone and I'm not one for bad mouthing other people. I would never do that. I think it's poor taste. Everyone does things the way they want to do. That's up to them. Like if my advice is, if you give someone a good job, they'll recommend you. If you give someone a poor job and then they come back and complain, I hear of stories where they've gone, oh, they've blocked me. If they're not happy, find out why, get them back in, see what the problem is, fix it. You know, it could be that it's something you can't do. Maybe they're asking to make the tails longer or they want it lower. And I will say, no, I can't do it. And this is the reason why. I think I'm quite thorough with my consultation forms. So I like to find out their medical history, which we pre-ask anyway beforehand, but I like to double check in case they've missed something off. I also find out what they want. Like, tell me what you want. Show me pictures of how you draw them on. And then I will look at them and see how they move their eyebrows, because that will change how it's going to be when they lay down. And I'll touch on that shortly. But I think it's managing their expectations too. If you can tell them what you can do and what you can't do, then I'll say to them, look, I don't feel comfortable doing this, so I might not be the technician for you. And then they'll always be happy then, because you're giving them what they want. And if you can't give them what they want, they will find someone who does. Because like I said, everyone offers something different, don't they?
Yeah. Do you think that for the people who are just starting out in the early stages, do you think that they should be taking revision, like knowledge and practice seriously?
I
so
definitely
that they can
think
get
practice.
confidence?
Yeah. I think confidence, because I lacked that at the beginning, comes from practicing. Practice. Once you practice it, then you'll feel confident in yourself and you'll give your best work. We all make mistakes. It's completely natural. As long as that mistake isn't detrimental to someone's health, then I think you learn from them. I look back at my work 10 years ago, I was like, fucking hell, what the hell are they? But I learned from that. I learned different techniques. I learned different needles. I went outside the box. I did things that some of the techs were saying you shouldn't do. I did it, and I did it well. And because it was my way of doing it. And I think you can be trained, but you'll learn your own flair of doing it. And when you learn your own flair of doing it, it will be the best possible version of you, because you've got your own little knack at it. You can go on a training course, and I love training courses, don't get me wrong. I recently went on one myself. I think it's really good to learn from other people, but you can make it your own.
Yeah. Taking
Definitely.
a little bit of what other people are doing that really aligns with you, and then using that as your own thing.
100%.
What mistakes do you think permanent makeup artists make? What are some common mistakes?
I don't like to delve on people's mistakes. I'm very much on like...
things that happen, isn't
I
there?
know,
So
I know.
could say mistakes that beauty business owners make is they underestimate how much work they need to put in to get fully bald.
Yeah, there's
So
definitely
it's
that. There's definitely
you know,
that.
and then I think mistakes that people could make is that they don't invest in personal development. You know,
Yeah, true.
It's just lessons.
Not so
It's
much a trade,
It's
yeah.
not as much a personal thing.
Yeah. I think the mistake people can make from my perspective is they expect to be good at it straight away sometimes. And it's frustrating because you're not. It's took me years to master hair strokes. Years and years for me to get the hair strokes the way I want them to be. Now, the main thing is, I would say, is you need to nail the facial symmetry and the mapping, the pre-draw. You could be the best artist, you could get the hair strokes in perfectly, but if you put them in the wrong place, the client isn't going to be happy. You have to take into the factors that people's faces age. Our eyebrows are the first things to drop. So I would say take your time doing facial symmetry. And one of the biggest tips I found myself is when you're doing a consultation with someone, watch your client and see how they move their eyebrows. Because if they've got a dominant eyebrow, the first thing they will do when they look in the mirror is lift that eyebrow up, and they will think you've tattooed their eyebrow higher up. So I would always take those factors into consideration.
Okay.
Say to the client, I'm going to hand you the mirror, and when you look in the mirror, can you notice that you're... Knocked it again, sorry.
That's all right.
When I hand you the mirror, you're going to notice that one of your eyebrows is more dominant than the other. And the first thing you do is when you look, you're going to lift that up. Now, you won't walk around with that eyebrow up there. Trust me. So I think it's looking at those things. Because a lot of people will pre-draw and they sit up and go, I didn't put that up there. Take your time. I take 30 to 45 minutes sometimes doing my pre-draw.
Because you know you need to nail it.
And I map to bone structure, not necessarily hair. Because hair is attached to skin, obviously, and we lose collagen, we lose elasticity, and the tails will drop. So if I'm dealing with mature skin, I will keep the tail slightly elevated, and I will keep the brows slightly shorter. And the amount of times clients will say to me, can you make them a bit longer? And I'm like, no, because when you come back to me in 3 years' time and that tail's dropped, I don't want you to be left with pigment. And then on the basis of that, it depends on what pigment you're using. If you're using mineral pigment and it fades, that's fine. But if you want a client who wants longevity, they maybe have more mature skin and you're using pigments that have got small amounts of carbon in, you know they're going to stay in the skin for longer, if not indefinitely. So you need to take those factors into consideration when you're doing symmetry. So facial symmetry is key.
And all this comes through knowledge of investing time into learning, making mistakes along the way as well. And I suppose you're right, because when does your client analyse their faces at that close proximity? Ever. They don't. But as soon as you touch them, they're going to go boom, and they're going to go, that's different. And they're like, no, actually, that was there before. So actually, bringing that up in the consultation part of the process.
Managing expectations.
And you're saying to them, have you noticed that? Before they've noticed it, you're saying to them, have you noticed it?
And they'll always say to me, didn't even know I did that. I think always manage clients' expectations, because then you'll know then if you can help them and that you're the right fit for them. Yeah. There's no harm in saying no to people.
Love it. So we're nearly towards the end of the podcast episode, but I want to just get a couple more bits from you if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
So your Instagram presence is, I think it's very light and it's lovely, but it's business as well and it's personal. What is your approach to content, and how important do you think it is for people to show up online?
I never used to show up online. This is something I've had to overcome. And I know probably a lot of people will be hearing this. I'm not going to come on here and say, I'm online all the time. It's great. I shit myself sometimes doing stories because I'm like, oh my God, I haven't got any makeup on. I look like this, I look like that. I've done some reels and I am literally cringing when I'm about to press the post. I'm thinking, oh my word, why am I posting this? It shows the different side to me. Like I shared the outtakes of me trying to do videos on pigments, and I just started getting away with myself, and I was taking bits from movies, and people wouldn't get it until they say, but that's really me. Yeah. That's what I'm like. I am a bit of a joker. I am a bit of a nutter. I don't shut up. And I think it's important for people to see that, because your vibe...
They know what they're coming to.
Yeah, your vibe attracts your tribe. Yeah. And people will either come to you because they like your eyebrows, or they might actually come to you because they feel comfortable to be able to speak to you and be honest with what they want. You know, I got clients coming in who are going through all sorts, and it's difficult for people to open up. And I want to provide a safe space, but I want it to feel light-hearted. I want my reception area to feel more like a living room. And then obviously my clinic room is a bit more clinical, but I talk to them that much. I take the nerves away. Yeah. So I think get yourself online. Don't be scared to be your authentic self, because when you start showing your authentic self, you start attracting the right people for you. Otherwise, if you're not being you, you're not going to attract the right people for you. Yeah. It literally is, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't be necessarily the right person for someone who's super quiet and introvert. Not that you wouldn't be able to manage them, because I had no doubt you would, but they might not want to come to somebody as bubbly as bubbly as you. Yeah. Whereas, so some people think, well, I'm not outgoing and I'm not super bubbly, so I don't want to put myself online. But actually, that might be the reason why people choose them. Everybody's different.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
And I think it's okay if you don't feel confident online, you can show up different ways on there. Yeah. You can show up with your work. You can, you do your carousels and your posts.
You can do some B-roll and put your text over it, let your energy come through the words. But I think just showing up is important,
or getting somebody in, a social media person to help you, or get a friend to help you. It is hard. I get in my head, and I really, really struggle with that social media side. I've had Soph's had to give me a kick up the arse a few times and said, you need to get yourself online, show people what you really like.
And do you feel like it's made a difference since you have done that?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting a bit more footfall, and people are engaging more because they're seeing the side of me. So when they turn up, they're not got a shock. Because I've had some people say to me, you are not what I thought you were. But then people have said, but it's nice to see you that way. I thought you were going to be really posh. I'm like, I'm fucking not.
That's one thing we're not going to do in here.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've expanded now into product development with the BioLaw Touches.
Yes.
What is that, and what inspired you to create your own line?
Okay, so it was lockdown. I was thinking about this a long time ago. So Danny from Doll, she's one of my friends as well.
She's in next.
Is she in today? Oh, amazing! I give her a love. And I was talking to about wanting to do like a pixel type product. I did bring it out, but it wasn't. I was too late to the game, because I think more people want more like hair strokes. So I kind of sat at home and I was thinking, there is nothing on the market for a serum that can be used post-tattoo that stimulates hair growth, is safe to use on skin that's still healing, but also elongates your tattoo. So I started working with an alopecia company, well, a hair company, and I said, right, I like what you do, but can you change it? So I'm a bit of a science geek. I've got molecular structures on the wall in my clinic, and I was like, right, I like your formula you've got, but I want Cipotonic M3 and copper, magnesium, zinc. They've got a smaller molecular structure. Because it's smaller, it passes into your skin. So although it's a serum, it sinks straight in. So, and it's all natural. And because I'm a massive, massive animal lover, I wanted to do something that was as eco-conscious as possible. It's cost me thousands. I've made losses on it. I'm going to be completely honest. I spent thousands on just my boxes because they're basically from FSC board paper, so it doesn't have an impact on Indigenous communities. It doesn't cause deforestation. It doesn't affect any animals. So that for me was really, really important. Yeah. I know those boxes are going to go in the bin, but they're going to go in the bin and recycled, and they'll be recycled safely. So that was big things for me. The first time I did them, I didn't know any about this. I didn't know the boxes when they've got gloss on, you can't recycle them. You learn all sorts about it. So when I did my serum, I actually give my little serum to my clients in their aftercare pack, and people use it and it elongates their tattoo. Right. And it stimulates hair growth as well.
So, but you're making this available for people to buy that are in the industry as well, right?
Yeah. So you can use it. You can use it if you've had your eyebrows laminated. Obviously, it can dry your hair out. So you can put topical creams on, but you need something that's going to reach a cellular level. So you need something that's going to go into the skin. So it hydrates from the inside out. Your brow hairs and your hair in your head is going to be brittle if you're not looking after your skin. You have to look after the skin in order for your hair to be good, basically, for your brows to be in good condition. So if you use it, we've got a couple of clients who have regular laminations. They use it every single day. They've not got a single dry hair because they're keeping it hydrated.
Yeah, makes sense.
And helps with healing.
Do you offer training for semi-permanent makeup artists, or are you going to?
I'm going to be doing masterclasses.
Yeah, okay.
Because my little boy's only 3. And I am an empath and I worry. I'd be one of those people that'd be checking in with all my students. I'd be literally on the phone to them at night. At the minute, I can't do that because my son's at a very small age and I want to try and enjoy it.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to do masterclasses. I am going to be collabing with somebody as well, which is really exciting. We met at the Brow Awards. So yeah, I'm going to be doing masterclasses.
Okay, amazing. So for anyone that's like a semi-permanent makeup artist and they're listening to this or they want to get into it, will you be sharing that on your social media page?
I will, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be people who are already trained, but if they want to upskill, they can come to me. Eventually I will, because I'm doing the teacher qualification as well.
Okay, so that's like a longer term goal, but for now you want to help the people. And also, you know, if they can go and get trained somewhere and then get better, it's probably a great way to do it anyway.
Yeah, and it'll be with me, so it's, you know, one-to-one, they'll get that support with me.
I love that. Have you got any more goals for the future? Anything new?
I've more got personal goals. I want to move more country.
Do you?
I want to live by a tree.
By a tree?
I'm a tree hugger.
I love trees.
So grounding.
Why'd you have to go to the country?
No, I want to move more to the countryside.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna lie. I thought you said I want to move by a tree.
Well, I wouldn't mind living in Spain.
I know, right? Okay, you want to get into the country. Got it.
And I am going to be moving clinic soon as well. So
exciting.
that's exciting. But I like being quite small. I was going to expand more, but then it becomes quite stressful. And even trying to juggle both these businesses has been quite stressful because I always find that one gives. So I've been really focused on a low touches more so at the moment than the products, and letting the products kind of tick over. Yeah, because I want to do masterclasses and things and get that rolling. And at the minute, I'm doing a lot of inner work. I'm working on myself. I've got my health coaching. And
yeah, it sounds like you're in a good place. And
yeah, definitely.
Sometimes the little voice says, "Oh, you could do more. You could be bigger." Yeah. But what do we want? Is it a bigger salon? Is it a bigger bank? Is it more fulfillment? Get clear on that, because some people make the mistake of going, I'm going to commit to this huge salon and this huge lease, and then they go, I was making more fucking money when I was in a smaller place. And actually
I was making more money when I was in my apartment than I am now. Yeah. But I love my space.
But you love where you're at now.
Yeah, I love my space. I mean, I'm going to be moving somewhere else, and it's beautiful. So it's a nice new little space. My clinic room's going to be bigger, so it's going to be great for masterclasses. It's still in the Chester City Centre, so that was actually what I manifested as well. One of the things I wanted was that, and then that came literally out the blue. One of my clients came in going, do you know anyone who wants to rent? And I went, me. And she went, you're joking me. She messaged you this morning as well,
you just literally manifested that.
So literally I was like, me? And she was like, you're joking me, aren't you? And she always recommends me to everybody. So it was just meant to be.
Wow.
Yeah. So my next goal is obviously my own house. I want my own house in the country because I'm 41. I don't have a mortgage yet, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Not that 41's old at all.
Oh, I've had loads of work done.
About 33.
Thank you very much. I'll take that.
Maybe.
I've had loads of work done.
Yeah.
And I'm honest about that, guys. There's nothing wrong with having a bit of work done.
Absolutely not. If you don't want to do it, don't. If you do,
if you want to know what, PM me. I can give you the links.
I'll give you the list.
And obviously, one of my best mates is Soph. Of course, I'm going to get everything done. My whole face. No, I've got less filler now, but yeah, I think as I'm getting older, I'm going a bit more natural.
Yeah,
got a load of Botox.
Everyone goes through these phases, don't they?
Yeah, but I'm having the Hollywood facial next.
Oh, are you?
Can't wait that. Yeah. Can't wait for that.
Well, Sarah, you've been amazing.
Thank you
so
been
much.
Lovely.
It's been an incredible episode, and I know that so many people are going to have found value in this. Thank you for being vulnerable and open.
I didn't cry. I very nearly.
We did well.
It was in my throat, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did well.
It's hard to talk about, but
I know, but I mean, it goes without saying that she'd be incredibly proud. And your dad, like, you're just amazing. You're an amazing person. You're strong, and you genuinely want to see other people succeed.
100%.
And you deserve all
we're
the
all
best.
humans.
You really
we're all
do.
living. We're a soul and a human experience.
Exactly.
Let's just value each other and support each other.
Yeah,
there's plenty of business to go around. I know people say it's a cliche.
It really is,
but
though.
it is.
Like, it's an abundant universe, so why aren't we treating it like one?
And you'll attract what is meant for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me. Pleasure.